My name is Demissie-Gordon. I'm not a teacher, but I work at International School of Addis Ababa as an archivist. Since I don't have a class of my own to teach, my final course 5 projects will be from my personal experience. If you ever move to a foreign country, you know that fire safety is not the first thing you teach your kids about the place that you're going to live. Most people consider finding a top school as a priority, but learning about basic safety from like fire is extremely important when you consider moving to a new country. In a country like Ethiopia, there are very few public services like ambulances and fire trucks, and often the children left at home with child care providers who are inexperienced with a basic fire safety procedure. My project developed out of a situation that occurred in my own home here in Ethiopia. Although I'm an Ethiopian, I live and work in expat community, and it was then that I realized that expat planning to move to Ethiopia could benefit from having a short video to learn about fire safety in a country like Ethiopia before they arrive. As we were working on course 3, Jeff told us to think ahead about the unit we plan to teach so that we could be a start for our course 5 final project. At that time, I wasn't thinking to do my final project on fire safety. Unfortunately, I ended up doing this unit because of an incident that happened when my son and his friends started playing with matches. They started a fire that got out of their hand, causing a little damage to the carpet in his room. Thankfully, no one is hurt. Instead of getting angry with them, I thought it was best to make them aware of the danger of fire. First, I read them different children books on a topic. Then, I let them read ebooks and play some games on the iPad on their own, all about fire safety. After that, I asked my son's teacher, Miss Anna, if I could show her students a fire safety movie in her classroom.
How about this? How about this? What? Look at your nanny's here. Weber. Yes. No.
These are fire extinguishers.
Okay, we know what to do after the fire is on, right? Before the fire starts, to prevent it, what do we do? What we shouldn't do around the house.
What should you not play with?
Yeah.
Matches.
Fire.
Matches.
Matches. Isaiah?
Lighters.
Lighters, very good.
Candle lighter.
Candles. What about the stove? Should you play with the stove?
Never.
Kennedy?
Electricity.
Electricity, very good.
Very
the plugs.
good,
What
right.
else? Was there anything else? Catherine?
Or don't. When your parents are not here.
When they're not home?
And they lock all the doors. And there's the fire starting. You get out and you get out.
You get up, very good. Nora, what else should you not do?
I always be careful going with the electric to put it in.
The plug, yes.
Yeah, I'm always doing very gently in it so I don't. Me too.
So you don't touch it, so you don't electrocute yourself.
Right.
No.
Electrocute, that's different than fire.
I
It's when
never
electricity
touch it.
goes into your body, and if there's
Yeah,
too
and-
much,
Yeah, and I just put it there and then I didn't burn it.
right. Yes, Nina? Sing.
I put in
Boys and girls.
If your clothes caught on fire, what do you do?
Close the door.
Okay.
Stop. Drop.
Can anybody show me what to do in action? Stop, drop,
And roll.
and roll. How do you do it? Can you show me? Okay, Isaiah and Lucas, you can show me over there on the carpet. Look.
Especially if you want, you can have them. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Excellent.
Very good. Okay, thank you, boys and girls. I hope you learned something.
You have to close your eyes.
Here is some information that you and your child can benefit from. Typical houses in Ethiopia are one-story villas, but more recently mammoth houses have been built that contain several floors and rooms. Regardless of the number of the floor in the house, there are some very basic lessons that fire safety can be taken from a tour of this typical Ethiopian house. Ethiopia is a country with a power outage. Because of that, candles and matches are a big part of our day-to-day life. Knowing this in advance and talking about it with your child is an important first step in preventing fire. In order to have an easy access to them, candles and matches are often kept by the bedside or where they can be easily accessed. So discussing their safe use and storage with the household staff is very important in preventing fire. It's important for your child to know not to play with lighters, matches, poorly installed electrical cords, and also to know how to stay away from stove. If there is a fire or you smell a smoke in the house, the first thing you should do to check to see if it is safe to leave the room. Touching the door or the doorknob is a sure way to find out if there is a fire in the hallway. If the knob is hot, don't go out into the hallway or do not open the door. If there is a smoke coming into the room when you can sure you can be sure that there is a fire somewhere in the house. The first thing you should do is to stop the smoke coming by putting a towel or a long cloth on the floor around the crack. Then you should go to the window and call for help. If you can get out of the room, you should proceed to the closest exit that leads to the main gate of the compound. Usually houses in Ethiopia have front and back exits. But remember, if you go back to the exit, you could get trapped between the house and the service quarters. The narrow spaces on the side of the houses makes it hard to pass if there is a fire. Therefore, it's best to exit through the front door or window. After you exit the house, you should have a designated meeting place for the family that's outside the compound. Therefore, designating meeting place is a must for all families, especially if you are a family that's new in the country. Another thing to remember is that villas are close to the ground, but for small child climbing out of the first floor window could still result in injury. Instead, it's better to call for help, especially if you are in the multi-story house. Help is needed to get out. Although there is not many public services in Ethiopia, if you have a fire in the house, you can call 993. Call 993 and then call for help from neighbors, but never jump out of the window. Thank you for watching.